If you're looking to book coaching clients and you don't want to dance in TikToks and you don't want to have to post all the time on social media, I want to invite you to join my email list at HaileyRowe.com because I'm going to be announcing a scholarship opportunity for my program, The Inner Circle. This program takes you through how to market your business without needing to be an influencer, but using the timeless principles of sales and marketing and applying it to either LinkedIn, a social media platform of your choice, or locally in your community, or through collaborations and partnerships. We do not do a cookie cutter, one size fits all approach for everyone. We tailor your business protocol to you. It's a combination of private coaching and small group coaching. And the scholarship opportunity is going to allow you to join at a special rate and be able to get some bonuses. I'm going to be sharing how you can apply, and it's all going to be through my email list. So be sure to join HaileyRowe.com. You can sign up for my freebie on the homepage, but that will also get you on my email list, and I'll talk to you soon. I am live today, and you are listening to the Health Coach Nation podcast. I'm your host, Hailey Rowe, marketing and sales strategist and coach. And today I'm so excited because we have Dr. Diego Salinas on here. He's a medical doctor. He's a board certified health and wellness coach, and he's bilingual. He's born in Miami, which is where he is right now as we're doing this live. And he went to the University of Florida College of Medicine, has completed his pediatric residency at Nick Kloss Children's Hospital. And throughout his career, he has been deeply passionate about education, enhancing communication, and creating systematic change to increase access to improve well-being. He is currently certified training assistant at Duke University's Health and Wellbeing Coach Training Program, and he gives guest lectures. He's also has been in ICF approved programs. So what I want to share with you about Dr. Diego is he is an example of somebody who has succeeded at coaching, which I know many of you are trying to do. And he created most recently Vibely, which is a platform for health and wellness coaches who want to have a one-stop shop, and we want to reduce the barriers for being able to serve your clients. So he built this platform out of his own need and now offers it to other coaches to help you with your impact, help you get your clients better results, and give you this tool that can be great, especially if you're not tech savvy. So I also have a coupon code, which we'll announce in the episode. So if you're thinking about it, you're going to want to listen in. But Dr. Diego, thank you for being here.
Hailey, real honor and pleasure. Excited for today's call.
Yes. So let's start, before we go into the tech tools and all the things you do with Vibely, tell me a little bit about your journey becoming a full-time coach and being able to actually, succeed in that. Tell me a little bit about what was your journey?
Yeah. Briefly, my background. So in college, I studied cognitive behavioral neuroscience. I'm a big neuro nerd. How does the brain work? Did medicine, did pediatrics. And I'll be honest, Hailey, I found coaching completely accidentally. I was trying to create a new program to educate or support parents in the first few years of life on all those changes, and support my patients the way I can support my friends and family. Not just diagnose them, but help them understand the diagnosis, walk through what that means for them and the actual implications in their day-to-day life. And so that the way I found coaching was I was at Durham around the time, and someone mentioned, hey, there's this Duke Health Coaching Program. Why don't you check it out to do that teaching thing you want to do? So I was like, sure, I'm a big nerd. Why not? Let's check it out. And what stood out to me, Hailey, was I was like, wait, this isn't teaching like I thought it was. And I think for our profession, the biggest bottleneck is awareness. Because and I'm a great example. I paid a lot of money for that program and I wasn't fully aware of what actually was. And when I did the first demo in front of us, I was like, this is not teaching. This is cognitive behavioral neuroscience applied. And Hailey, I was like, wait, I can combine my medical background, my neuroscience background, my passion for helping others. And when I heard there's organizations like the boards, like the ICF, and maybe one day more reimbursement, I thought this can change public health and well-being in my lifetime. And you don't need to go to school for 12 years to make a huge impact on the biggest bottleneck, which is in applying what we know, not saying learning more things. So, hey, that's what really started my coaching journey. That was in 2018. I've been coaching all in on coaching ever since. I still teach at Duke, like you mentioned, and other programs. And I've had a luckily successful coaching career and had the opportunity now to help with Vibely, help others do the same. So yeah, I'll pause there. Kind of got to coaching. I'm happy to continue on how I started
Yeah.
coaching then.
Yeah, well, tell us a little bit about how did you acquire your first clients? Because I know you're not super tech savvy either, and that's why you made Vibely, right?
Yeah.
So
So I'm
I
not
want to disprove that they don't need to be that way to succeed or get started. So how did you get started with getting your first clients?
Yeah, and I really wasn't tech savvy, and at that point, did not know a lot about marketing and sales, as I learned later on, right? So, initially, so I'll be honest with you, starting with the first bit of trying to get those board exam seats, going to a lot of community centers and doing outreach and doing some nonprofit work, actually, which actually then later on turned into paid opportunities, both directly from those I served or friends and family. And the reason why on our platform, Hailey, we have gift card as options for coaches is because we know a lot of coaching ends up being referral, word of mouth. And one of my first big packages was um, I told all my friends and family what I was doing, everyone in my community. And one of my good friends, his wife had someone a family friend of theirs who was in medical school at the time, going through a hard time. He goes, "Hey, do you help people who are in medical school?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love helping other doctors, right?" And so we had a discovery call, and the next day they got him a package, a tremendously generous gift. But this is my longest standing client. We met in 2019. About once a year, Hailey, I'll see him, and he buys his all packages now. So I've seen him graduate medical school, do residency, go to fellowship, go international mission trips, have his first house, first kid, second kid. He goes, "You're my change guy," right? So really, it was through letting everyone know who in my community what I'm doing, how I'm pivoting, and being flexible to what that might look like, right? The initial part of your career is very different than mid or once it's established. And I think creativity and being open to brainstorm and collaborate is really crucial when you're starting off.
Yeah, I love that. And what about, did you do any forms of like online outreach or marketing or anything like that?
Yeah. So through my career at different, depending where I was living, what was going on. So for example, in Durham, I was owner of a gym. So we did coaching through that gym, right? So that was kind of bundled there. When I left Durham and I had stuff of my own, I actually didn't do any online marketing. I really grew all my private practice through, I mean, there was some online marketing, but not significant compared to, I did a lot of in-person events, Haley, and workshops and live events. I realized that I can talk all day long. I love being in front of people. Writing feels like a much bigger barrier for me, and cold outreach does and those kind of things. So I went with what felt natural for me already and where I felt I could connect. So it was really a lot of in person events, workshops, giving lectures, giving presentations, talking on certain topics, right? And so the, have different categories. I help parents, right? And coaching there for new parents, but then also that evolved, Haley, to doing adolescent work, right? As a pediatrician. Then I help a lot of healthcare workers with burnout. So I involved like communities there in medical schools, residencies, nurses, that kind of communities. And I kept on getting, out of my own curiosity, I'd go to a conference or go to talk myself and afterwards talk to the person presenting, hey, or the sponsor of the conference, or and offer, hey, I have these things I'm curious in talking about, but what do you think you need that would help your next conference, your next thing, your next workshop, right? And really being flexible, tailor what I was presenting to those audiences. I'm a big nerd, I have a wide range of interests. So really seeing how can I support those who are organizing this. And then from there, it's a lot of those warm introductions. Once you're on stage or once you're in front of people will come afterwards and ask you a question here and there. They want to learn more, right? So I have my little booth set up, all my collaterals there. But really, it was in person and virtual, but like workshops, conferences. And Haley, I think one thing that why I went that route, besides my own natural kind of properties, which is really important to think about, is that I realized not a lot of people know exactly what coaching is or what it does. And they're not necessarily looking for coaching unless they've already been coached in the past. Like right now, I have a problem. Okay, who's a coach in that category? Before 2018, I didn't know this. So we talk a lot about coaching, meeting your clients where they're at. We got to meet our leads where they're at too. They may not know what we're doing. For any health coach listening, we all know that information is not the limiting factor, but clients may think it is. So maybe giving things that have information based or giving that value there. But then during that discussion, saying, you know what, it's not just about the value of knowing what to do. How many of us knew that already, but had a hard time applying it? And that humanization, that personalization, right? Or leading the
Yeah.
workshops by asking, what do you want to teach? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I love that. This is great advice. I love that you went with your strengths. One of the things I do with my clients is we look at what feels like the lowest hanging fruit, what works with your strengths. Like if you love chatting and being on video and speaking, we start there. If you love writing, maybe you're going to be more of a blogger. You're going to do other things like that. So I love that you went with your strengths. I love that you asked questions to find out what would be helpful for people. And I love that you got out there in your community and you went to those things without knowing, what would happen from them, but you were willing to try things, you were willing to ask. Was there anything, because I know a lot of people when they're first starting out and they want to do things in their community, they're worried like, well, if I do a local event or workshop, like I don't have a big following and who's going to want to partner with me? And they kind of have some limiting beliefs that stop them from starting. How did you work through that? How did you navigate, getting your first things when you were feeling like maybe they're not going to want to partner with me, or what comes up for you there?
Yeah. I think, Hailey, you bring up a great point that we're all going to have natural blockers or mindset limitations, because we're like our clients, right? The biggest blocker into being ourselves in some way, right? Or not the biggest, but a component of that. And what my blockers were different than some people I mentor, right? So really noticing not only your strengths, but the areas that you want to add strength to. And I think normalizing what we normalize with our clients, that the intro part or the beginning phase of anything new is going to feel difficult. You don't know what you don't know. It's unknown. But I tell everyone also listening, listen, if you just graduated from a coach training program, a year ago, you had no idea what the skill set was, and now you do. So you're going to learn this skill set by doing it. And it's really just being brave enough to take the nose, right? People think, oh, you had these degrees. It was easy for you. No, it wasn't. People still didn't know what coaching was. So I want to normalize how difficult that initial phase was. But it also led me to success because I went through that phase. So if you take this as a R&D, research and development, not, oh, I didn't get a client today. What did I learn? Like I learned for myself, Hailey, that I can talk way too fast when I give a speech, way to slow it down. When I first started, I was giving way too much information and not enough listening and asking what people wanted, assuming what they wanted, right? Um, and here's the reality. I think people are curious. So there's this, I think you mentioned we last talked, the no is there every time you don't ask the question. And if you just get out there, the amount of time I would hand a business card out or make a connection, and sometimes it would go to nothing. But sometimes you really never know when you're going to meet your next client or good collaborator. So one advice I give everyone is always have for us and Viably, your QR code of your stuff, because it didn't always come when I expected it, Hailey. Or maybe it's a person I met, then a month later, introducing someone else. So you have to be okay this being nonlinear. My biggest blocks, I guess what I had to overcome was being more patient with the results coming in. And now knowing what I know now, I was doing the right stuff, but initially it felt like, well, why isn't it happening yet? Right. So, and I think I wish I had a bigger community, to be honest with you, of other people doing this as well, to both learn from, logistically or strategy, but really that support where communities where well-being lives. So let me pause. I kind of I've got a little lost in the question here, but I think my ultimate things I had to overcome was don't focus on the no's. keep on going till you get the yeses. And you really never know. It's not always a person with the, it could be someone who has a lot of followers and you're surprised they say yes to you, or the vice versa. You never know who's well connected and who's not. So if you just approach each person fully authentic, with some people you resonate, some people you won't. But you just got to get out there to see who's going to resonate and take those next steps. But it's a journey into the unknown. So view it that way. It's not linear.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And speaking of community, we have a free Facebook community. I'm going to plug it right now. It's facebook.com/group/the marketing hub group. And it's for coaches who want to connect with each other, who want to, sometimes I'll post job opportunities in there if I see any, things like that. So you're welcome to join. And I'm curious, you just mentioned that, you got to be patient, but at the same time, you got to get out there, right? So you're not just being patient, waiting for people to come to you, right? You're also actively engaging with people and getting out there. So one of the things that I see is a lot of coaches are waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for their kids, for summer to be over and their kids to go back to school, waiting for them to get more confident on video first before they make that first video, or they have a website or whatever. And I know you're a big fan of taking messy action and getting out there, and like what part of your message is helping people move through their blockers. So tell me a little bit about how do we get out of that? Like where are some places, I guess, where you see health coaches waiting, and what would you say to kind of help them get out of that?
Haley, I'm really glad you brought that up and how you clarified. So I think the patience is in the results coming in, not in patience in you starting. Right. So to, again, quote my mom again, what's the best time to plant a tree? 2 years ago. What's the second best time? Today. And I say this too because Haley, for example, I'm not tech savvy. My first website, I paid someone to do it. Someone who was, I was a little more price sensitive at that point. Someone who was a student. But it took me so long to get built, not only because of them, but my own blockers. I wanted to have everything under the sun on that website and do all these things, blah, blah. And it was just overwhelming. It was a mess. And then I think there's a reality that a lot of coaches face is that perfectionism or slash imposterization, right? Well, why me? I'm not an expert in anything. I'm not sure. And this waiting until insert whatever excuse you have here. I want to get one more certificate. I want to get one more thing. I'm going to do one more thing. Wait till summer, or I want to have my friend look at my website copy a third time. Another saying, the road is created by walking. You're going to learn by doing it. The same way we tell our clients, okay, don't spend 6 weeks planning. It's plan, do, plan, do, plan, do, plan, do. So I think, Hailey, we actually already intrinsically know this, and we do it so well for others, but I see coaches not doing this well for themselves. So I think the imposterization of why me, why someone help me, I'm going to summarize a lot of human connection in a very simple way. People like us or don't like us for reasons we don't understand. My mom says, no one's going to knock on your door, ask you to go on a date, or give you money for your business. You got to go out in the world for those things, right? And so it's a numbers game and us being out there. And I talk to so many coaches who say, well, I'll wait till X, Y, and Z. And I challenge them, make it your sloppy copy, because that's how you're going to get your one day, your final copy. This is a journey you're on for long term. Your copy probably will change in a few years because you're going to change in a few years. So normalize getting that draft down now. Who am I today? What do I know today? And then that exposure will then give you some ideas for afterwards. So I really do think the productive procrastination, the imposterization, numbers wise, even Hailey, coaches used to tell me the limitation was the tech. We built the tech and then people wouldn't create a profile. I can't do that for you. Right. And so finding out what the real barriers are. And this is where I think a hint, Hailey, I would say, you mentioned community. As coaches, we tend to help others more than ourselves. We know what to do, but we don't always do the same thing. So find a colleague to coach you. Go to Hailey's community, find another colleague working on something, and then you work on what are your barriers, those things that you want to add strength to, and help your colleague out. I found that to be a tremendous unblocker. So for anyone listening, when you're feeling stuck, don't view that as a message that you're wrong or bad. That's your signal that you need to do something to get unstuck. Get a
Mm.
coach, talk to Hailey, do something. So that's your signal that to make a change, not to stay still. But yeah, just do it. Plant those seeds. You have to plant out the seeds and learn from it. Do the same thing that we ask our clients to do. We have to walk that walk too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, love that. Yeah, and it's so funny you said that about how, we built the tech and then some people don't set up your profile. So it's like
Yeah.
there's always going to be the next thing that you can make an excuse about, or like, oh, I can't do it because now blah blah blah. And
Yeah.
we just have to catch, is that your pattern? Is there always another thing where you're like, okay, can't do it now because blank, right?
Yeah. Hailey,
So,
can I have one more story that kind of
yes,
another block right
please.
here too? So
Please.
one of I had a former student who you know had signed on to my live demo, and she was asking all these questions, and I actually paused the demo. I said, listen, you're asking great questions, but these are questions on your third, fourth, fifth year of business. You don't even have a landing page yet. Like, and I said, I'm being really kind here, but is this because you're actually just avoiding it in a complex way, or does this really need to know now? And she paused, and it was in front of a group too, and she said, you know what, you're right, actually. Right? The same person eventually signed on, and then she would send follow-up emails and said, listen, well, how am I going to compete with others who have all those years of experience? I said, the only way you get 5 years of experience is not quitting your first year. I'm not magic. I've been doing this for longer. So, and the reality, Hailey, I think any coach who worries about competition being a limiting factor, A, win the lottery, because every field has competition, right? Like that's just the reality of life. But B, our limiting factor is not in competition. Even if we don't have insurance billing yet, there are plenty of people who could afford the average coaching session every other week. They just don't know it's valuable enough. So that's another false limiting factor. It's not based in reality. Competition is not the limiting factor. If you want to get more years of experience, just don't quit. Keep it going. There's always someone above us and below us. That's true of any profession. Don't just look at it as a coaching problem.
Right. Yeah, it's like, so what? Every field has that. So are you going to just let that not let you start, or are you just going to work with it and get started? Because the sooner you start, the sooner you'll see results, right?
Yeah.
What about perfectionism? Because you kind of pointed to that story, which I love. I've had the same conversation with people where they'll be on a webinar or something and they're asking questions that are like 10 years down the road. It's like, wait, hold on. We don't even have the first sale yet. Like, let's
Yeah.
work there. But I think sometimes too, it stems from, I want to get this all right. I want to be perfect. I want everyone to like me. So I don't want to put myself out there and mess up and, fail. So
Yeah.
what would you say to somebody who's really stuck in that pattern of like perfectionism and fear of failure?
Yeah. I think again, like normalizing this, because when we become a company of one, there's some identity in there as well. Right. Our ego wants to protect identity. Right. So I think that's normalized experience. And I think if you look at the sales perspective, um, you hear the word imposter syndrome. I had a guest, someone actually on our platform, she uses the word imposterization to say, hey, it's not a syndrome, it's not a disease you have, it's a normal human experience. Every time you're in medical school, you're going to feel imposter the next year when you graduate or go to the next clinic, right? Like it's a normal experience. So I think name it, tame it. And for me, I didn't realize how much productive procrastination was happening because of maxing imperfectionism. And even me, Hailey, I'm pretty much hard on my sleeve. I didn't think myself as a perfectionist, but still those things in some way were showing up and blocking me. So, and I think the underlying thing that for at least me, I'm curious about you and your audience, was, man, if I don't get that first landing page right and people see that, they're never going to come back to me. And I'm going to burn through all my leads. I think it's the underlying thing that we assume in some way, right? Like if I don't launch well, I have a bad webinar or I stumble on a Q&A, that's going to be my version of being canceled in a way, right? But to this, I would say, look at any actor's first audition tape. Look at any pilot episode of any program, right? It could seem comical, but it's not a bad thing to show progress. And people are much more. Here's what I'll say too: when you're working with a client, we're asking them to be really vulnerable. They're really focused on themselves. There's not this audience always judging us. People are often more rooting for us than we are. And I think normalizing that you can still feel those things and move forward. So, Hailey, one kind of made parallel example is in medicine, I never had to ask for money. Billing department did that. I just did the medicine. I also have to ask for price and why it worth. And that was, it felt, even now I can feel my physiology changing asking for that, right? But one of my mentors said, Diego, if you do all pro bono, one day you'll be pro bono, or you can only do pro bono on Sunday afternoon. If you want to help the most people in your lifetime, find a way to make it sustainable. So now I still feel that, I'll be frank with you, internal a little bit. I don't know the word ick is too strong, but a little, but I got really good at asking for money in my pricing. So I think behavior change can come before the internal emotional change, and challenge yourself to be in that zone of discomfort. They're called growing pains, not growing pleasures.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it's worth it, and because you become a stronger person through it, but in the moment it can feel really tough, and there's probably moments where you want to give up, and it's, as you said, not linear. It's not linear at all. So
That's where the
tell
patience
me,
comes in.
yeah, exactly. So shifting gears a little bit, Vibely, you made because you were going through all of these things that new coaches go through, and you wanted to provide a tool that would help coaches hit the ground running, get started. So tell me a little bit about what is Vibely, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. So we are a HIPAA compliant, so medical grade encryption. We started as a coaching platform, Hailey, with a coaching platform and a client platform as well. But we're really a partnership platform for any solopreneur. So I'm one of the co-founders, but who started the company was actually a client. His life got changed through coaching. He's an engineer. He wanted to find a better way to work with coaches because he was tired of the tech mess and the lack of security. I'm the coach who was like, I don't know the tech side and I need security. So it really is a partnership platform. And it's been really beautiful how it's evolved from starting from coaching, but really a lot of coaches may offer other services. So I say if you can type it out, you can kind of promote it. And really our goal is to lower those barriers because as a teacher and mentor, I saw people who had tremendous heart, tremendous passion for helping others, but they would never get out there because I don't know how to start a business. I don't know how to do it securely. I can't build the website. And Hailey, I went through all those pains myself. Again, almost a year from my first website. What a bunch of missed opportunities. Now, and I mean this very not hyperbolically, you can have a profile, a website up and running today within an hour and a half, like the whole thing, an hour if you want to be more efficient about it, right? And iterate. So really it's to be multiple factors. I've also realized too when I was doing this was there's two sides of a business, front facing and back facing. And how much systems had 40 million logons and all these things, and security concerns because transferring data between systems is a security concern as well, right? Even to compliant, but is the transmission secure or not? So I wanted a place that I could just hang my hat that had all the stuff for my client facing. So I got really sick and tired of when I wanted to create a new service or workshop, Hailey, talk to a webmaster. It would take 2 or 3 weeks and like a few $100 later. Now I can have an idea, A/B test it, launch it right away. So I have all my kind of client facing things to experiment and learn and get out there and try things. And then in the back end, all the management I need. So part of being a successful provider long term is not burning out. And tech does cause burnout in different ways. There's a lot of studies on this. So if I can reduce the tech burden and also systems that help with work-life balance. So on our platform, I think our scheduling is my favorite function, besides being HIPAA compliant, which by the way, Calendly is not HIPAA compliant. Type it up yourself, look it up yourself. That's why no hospital uses Calendly for a reason, right? You have systems to be open for opportunities and also create boundaries when you need to with our custom calendar settings. So, for example, the calendar I give Hailey as a partner has way more openings. My general LinkedIn meet and greet, not a lot of different kind of openings. So it's meant to run all of your practice, launching it, all the management, the chat, the forums, the contracts, your video processing on Vibely, the recordings, sending documents back and forth. And also something, Hailey, we didn't talk about as much, but maybe the beginning of the episode mentioned this. I realized a big part of growing my coaching practice was networking with other providers. Who's a referral source? Who can collaborate with? Who can I, do a code talk with or do something with? So we also have tools to schedule and work with all your contacts. It's made my life easier. One login, I have my work-life boundaries, and way more professional for my clients because they have their own client portal. They can see all their stuff, log in, all secure. And I can talk more about this, but I'll say the last thing here
Mhm.
is that we've really built this flexibly, Hailey, to kind of work with all kind of clients. You can do in-person clients, so you're doing in-person sessions. You can do that on the platform. You can use it just for clients to schedule and pay you without creating an account, or to go ahead and create a full account for full set of features and privacy in terms of sharing files and forms. So really designed by coaches and clients for coaches and clients to meet us where they're at and create new partnerships and strengthen partnerships, because that's, end of the day, what growing any business is: making
Yeah.
connections and strengthening them.
Yes, definitely. And what I love about it, because Dr. Diego did a guest training in the inner circle, and one of my clients is getting all set up in Vibely right now, and it's been so much easier than some of the other things out there, is how user friendly it is, and how just the page for their little web page looks, and how it's set up in a very strategic way, and it can even be SEO optimized. I mean, there's so many things, and you can take payments, like all of your things where you're at the beginning of your business and you're like, well, where am I going to do this, and how am I going to set this up? And it really can be that platform to make that much more seamless, and as you said, a better customer experience, which really is what this is all about, right? So what do you think is next for Vibely that people should know about?
Yeah, so we provide software for both solo providers, like anyone listens to this episode, but also teams and companies. So we've had people who want to collaborate, form organizations within there, and or build directories as well for, or marketplaces for different companies as well. So we want to be that tech solution for any of your outreach needs. What we're building out next, we're listening to this right now, we're in end of July of 2026. We're launching our own in-platform video next week, where you have the ability to integrate the chat between your sessions, shows up in the video session, same for your notes, and a lot more integration of AI through the platform to help understand your client's journey, but also, Hailey, our own professional experience. How about that perfectionism, right? How do we give people more confidence in their skill set? Supporting coaches in that. We're offering more mentorship for skill-based learning as well. And next month, we're also going to launch on-demand courses and subscription models for memberships. So we'll have every kind of offering: one-on-one, group coaching, workshops, live events, on-demand courses, pay as you go, pay ahead of time, payment plan, subscription models. So really what I realized is that we're our clients, Hailey. We're all a little different. And Vibely was built modularly to you build what your vision, your business is. That's what I've learned this last few years. Every coach has a different vision. And it was very strategically built with a lot of flexibility in place. And even flexibility as you're early on to grow. Start off with the basics, right? Start off with your one-on-one services. You can always experiment. It's meant to be a growth platform for you to experiment and play around with, because that's what's required to make any kind of forward progress.
Totally. Love it. So, Dr. Diego, where can people connect with you and Vibely and all the good stuff?
Yeah. So you can go to our website, vibly.io, Vibly.io. And people ask, why is it called Vibly? Hailey, it's our co-founder, when he started, he said after he got coached, he was his most vibrant and lively self. And so we want to kind of redefine well-being, not as a punishment, but as an opportunity. So that's why Vibely.io. You can also follow us on LinkedIn, our company name. Also follow me, /Dr. Diego Salinas. I think MD. I can put the links in there, but I'm very accessible. Follow our podcast. Send me a message. I love talking to coaches, other providers. And for anyone curious, we also do a live demo as well. Go to the website, you'll see a live demo link. Just kind of curious, take a look at it, right? And each demo I do is really personalized. So check our website, follow us on LinkedIn, send me a message on LinkedIn. Me or someone from the team will help you out, and love to hear how we can continue growing and supporting the community.
Beautiful. Yeah. And for anybody who wants that monthly, I believe it's 15% off for my audience. You can use the coupon code Hailey Rowe. If you want the annual plan, reach out and we'll get you we'll get you the code for that. But yeah, month to month, you can get that little discount, which is quite fun. So
yeah, and Hailey, enough to go. So
awesome.
there's 2 discounts for your community. So there's that discount code. It's going to be 15% off for the first 6 months. But we offer partner programs like with Hailey, an annual discount up to 25% off for the first year. For that one, just email
Amazing.
us, say, hey, I'm part of Hailey Rowe's community. I want the annual partner discount. Put that word in there, what community you're in. We'll verify you're in Hailey's community, and then we'll apply that discount before your free trial is up. So annual partner discount will give you 25% off for your annual subscription.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for offering that to the podcast audience. And I love talking with you. I've loved having you on the show and can't wait to see where you take things next.
Hailey, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for also supporting our community, right? It's a great example of partnership. We have the tech, you have the knowledge, how do we work together? So Hailey really does speak and walk the talk, and so I'm really happy for us to both support each other and more coaching get out there.
Me too. Thank you.